Hey, Darian, as Coach Grant about just how you guys played and your self reflection after Saturday. Offense as a whole, obviously, you had a lot of trouble getting things going. Just how do you kind of look at the film and break down how you guys played?
Looking at it, there's some small mistakes that we can make and that we made and we could fix. It's just one tiny thing here and there that could have made a, play that gained only 3 yards go for 10 to 15. Or, there's going to be certain times we could have stepped better, had a better dig out, had a better pull track. It's just the smallest details had the biggest effect on the play. Plays that could have made 15 yards only made 3 or 4, maybe. So I mean, it was just seeing those small things and then going back to the drawing board and getting out on the practice field today and making sure we went through those small steps, those small details, and make sure we got the steps right, got the pull tracks right, got working on where the hat needs to be fitted. We got to make sure we're just getting every small detail because if you don't focus on the small details, it's going to build up to a big mistake. So that's kind of the biggest thing we're doing today is like just looking for solutions to the small mistakes we were making.
John Hale.
Darian, just what's the mood in the among the offensive players in general? I mean, you had a so-so game the first week, a really good game the second week, not so good last week. And just how are you all kind of coping with that inconsistency, and what's the key to making sure that you're doing what you did against Ole Miss more often than not?
I mean, coming into this season, we knew it was going to be hard. All the SEC games are going to come down to whoever makes the least mistakes and focuses on the details the most. Like I said, small mistakes are glaring against teams in the SEC. So, I mean, right now it's just those tiny mistakes that we keep doing or new tiny mistakes that come up have a big impact on the game. Play here, play there, things can change completely. Like momentum can swing either way. So, I mean, right now the biggest thing for us, coming into this week is just make sure we're focusing on those details, doing our job and playing to our standard and above. We didn't come close to anywhere near our standard that we like to play with, considering, we have a lot of good players here and we expect greatness, every time we're on the field. So we didn't play to our standard and we just got to make sure we play to that and go above that.
Eli.
Hey, Darian. Not sure if you know really the history of Kentucky and Tennessee, but Kentucky has not won in Knoxville since 1984. One, are you aware of that as a player group? And two, what would it mean for you guys to snap that streak this weekend?
For me, I mean, it's not – for me, nothing's changed. I grew up in Knoxville for about 12 years, lived in Tennessee, and then came to play Kentucky. To me, it's not that big of a deal of snapping a streak. It's just about going in and doing our job and winning. That's really the biggest thing. We got to go in like every other week and do our job and make sure we can put our team in the best position to win. And that's just how it is every week, every day.
Jeff.
Yeah, Darian, I was wondering how different were the looks that you were getting this past week from Mississippi State, and are you kind of relieved that maybe you don't have to face anything quite that kind of different on the defensive side of the ball?
I'm a little relieved, but at the same time, it's just like I just gotta focus and do the best I can. They like to play downhill. They like to play big boy ball, and that's what we like to do. So we're gonna see who really comes out on top, this Saturday. But it's nice to see not as much twisting like we did last week, but at the same time, we got to make sure we stay up on par with all the twists, and because they can bring it. We've seen it a couple times, and we just got to make sure we're still ready for that post snap reaction every time.
Nick.
What is it going to be like to go back to Knoxville and play the stadium where you grew up?
I mean, it's back to business. I grew up there. There's nothing special about coming back. I'm always there. Grow up out of season. I'm always there every other weekend with friends and family. It's to me, it's not that special going back there and playing there. just like it is going anywhere else in the country and playing a team. It's just back to business. Maybe my freshman year it might have been different. It might have been special, but right now it's just gotta get back to business and win.
You mentioned family and friends there. Will they be at the game? And were they Tennessee fans? Did you deal with that a lot growing up?
Yeah, I got a couple close friends of mine that are Tennessee fans. You know, they like to kind of put in my face that they're big Orange fans, but you know, at the end of the day, it's a game, man. I still love them to death, and at the end of the day, we got to go out there and do our job. So,
Josh?
During the more recent history, I don't know how much you all pay attention to this, but you guys are usually coming off a pretty big game before this game in the schedule, and they're usually, I mean, you know, the last 4 years, I know you've been here for a few of them, they're usually coming off a cupcake game. Do you think that could have any kind of effect, especially, and the game being earlier, kind of both teams being more healthy?
it could definitely have an effect on the game. At the end of the day, there's no excuses after the game. You went out there as best prepared as you could be, and whatever team won. But it's just the same with anything. Like, if you had a game at 7, you know, maybe your team's been playing 12 o'clock games the past 2 weeks. Like, they're too used to playing earlier, or, you know, vice versa. So, I mean, you can come up with any excuse, but at the end of the day, you line up the ball at that time and you play.
Jesse? Jesse, you're muted.
Hey, Darren, so they call you guys the Big Blue Wall, but in Tennessee, they're calling themselves the Tennessee Valley Authority. You know, both groups are really strong offensive line groups. Who do you think has the better nickname?
It's a very biased question to ask. You know, I'm part of the Big Blue Wall, and I grew up in Tennessee. But you know, really, I'm not focused on nicknames right now. Since compared to last week, right now we didn't really earn the name Big Blue Wall right now. So we got to really step it up this week and make sure you guys can keep calling us Big Blue Wall.
All right, we'll wrap up one more. Lonnie?
Yes. Darren, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but the lack of success down in Tennessee, the radio announcer said that he just thinks that it just comes down to the fact that you all are scared of him. You all are afraid of him. What's your response to that?
This is SEC. I mean, everybody's big. No one's scared of nobody. You line up and play. If you get beat to play, you get beat to play. If you win to play, you win to play. But it could turn around any second, any time. And whoever wins, wins. And you just got to suck it up until next year where you get back at them. Simple.